I'd like to start this video by asking a question. Are we ready to face the roots of our problems and not merely the effects? The two can often get mixed up, and actually this is well known as the fallacy of cause and effect. This fallacy illustrates that simply because two things seem to occur in conjunction does not necessarily mean that either one of them is the cause. Let's take the example of Wall Street. Many people are blaming them, or the politicians, or even the government as the source of their problems. Yet it's completely overlooked that the very existence of money out of debt, the entire process which money comes into existence, is itself a causal mechanism of the corruption we see in the social arenas. Even if we declare the need to end the Fed, which is absolutely necessary, are we ready to also look at the dependency we have had on the debt-based system to provide us with everything we have? Many of us are not as independent as we'd like to believe, and we're simply looking for someone to blame and give us orders so we don't have to look at ourselves and our irresponsible behaviors by depending on others to do our thinking for us. So I ask again, are we ready to look for the real root causes of our social degradation? Because if not, we risk letting in another form of social dictatorship, more powerful and more conniving than the one we have now. As long as dollars and any other fiat currency are continuously used to purchase our skills and productivity as a means of our survival, will we not continuously fall into the same trap of overconsumption that caused us to depend on it in the first place? Don't the same people who control the money also have intimate relations with the owners and controllers of the Earth's major resources? Food production, manufacturing, legislative action, law enforcement, education. When the game is built on profiteering, the cutthroat, domineering personalities win because they will stop at nothing to achieve ultimate control of the game. You might remember playing a few of these games when you were a kid, revolving around the same concept. They were called Risk, Monopoly, and there was a computer game called Civilization. How can you control your own destiny and make your own decisions when you look for someone else to provide for you? Have we not been made as children, prevented from learning the skills necessary for sovereign independence? Except we're not confined by our size, strength, and lack of knowledge the way a child is. Many of us are just lazy and looking to blame others for our supposed misfortunes. At the root, we depend on the Earth's resources to provide for us, and for each other. But has it not been substituted for the middleman? Does not the bank, the money own your home, your car, your business, your food, your education, and nearly everything it takes for you to survive? So long as we build that kind of game, that kind of system of governance, can you ever truly be free? There's a book entitled The Secrets of the Federal Reserve, in which a well-known author, Ezra Pound, asked Eustace Mullins to do an investigation on the Fed in 1949. In this book, Mullins says, the Federal Reserve proposal was unconstitutional from its inception because the Federal Reserve System was a bank of issue. Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 5 of the Constitution expressly charges Congress with the power to coin money and regulate the value thereof. He also elaborates on the notions of a central bank by saying that it would have control of the nation's money and credit resources, and it would be a bank of issue which would finance the government by mobilizing credit in time of war. In the rationale of central banking, Vera C. Smith writes, the primary definition of a central bank is a banking system in which a single bank has either a complete or residuary monopoly in the note issue. A central bank is not a natural product of a banking development. It is imposed from outside or comes into being as a result of governmental favors. If you weren't listening, there are two statements in this passage we are interested in: credit in times of war and governmental favors. These two statements underline the current social paradigm that the debt consumption mentality has facilitated since the erection of the Federal Reserve in 1913. The fact that our government and its attached limbs of control, including Congress and military power, are bought and paid for by political lobbyists, which control the central banking system, which the world is governed by, and which is now seeking to further centralize power through this globalization. This is more than just a fight to reclaim our rights as citizens. This is a fight on our minds, to give up the redundant conditioning we have enabled ourselves to exist in and actually move towards the implications of a sovereign existence, which includes self-reliance, integrity, and valuable relationships. We have allowed ourselves to become entrapped in the idea that people, like resources we consume, are commodities, things to be disposed of once we've had our thrill. If you are truly listening to this message and understand the current paradigm we face, then you will not go to war. You will not murder and commit to killing merely to retain a paycheck and maintain your dependency on this cancerous entity that has contaminated citizens all over the earth, including yourself. It's time to fight back with our minds and stop allowing ourselves to be fooled into false belief systems.